The trailer of A Thursday looked amazing, so I have to congratulate you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, the only thing that we can do as actors and people who are part of the business is try. And this is another attempt towards doing, good and interesting cinema. And that's what I've always stood for. So for me, like, to balance work and, my personal life and to be able to do all this, sometimes it can get, very overwhelming. But then when I see the trailer and I'm like, okay, this is what we've gone and done, and this is what I did when I was 8 months pregnant, you feel great. So thank you.
And the fact that you were, 8 months pregnant and then you were doing something this intense, that is so, so, so amazing.
Thank you very much.
It also paves the path and motivates others to, carry forward with their work while, they are expecting to. So that's a great way.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I feel like, it also has to become beyond a talking point. I also want to be in a position where I can lead by example. I want to be in a place where, somewhere this choice that I have made and the opportunity that my director and my producer have given me gives me, the ability to even open doors for one person or one other woman or who decides to, be on a film set when she's 8 months pregnant. I think that's a big win, because onwards she'll open the doors for 2 more and then 8 more. And that's what it is, because I feel like cinema is a reflection of society. And if pregnant women or women in their 3rd trimester are seen in corporate worlds, are seen in courtrooms, are seen in the parliament, so why can't we portray those parts?
Wow. Yes. Also, the fact that, I have to ask you this, that when you were approached with the film, what was your reaction and why did you say yes to playing ACP Catherine Alvarez?
I mean, she's a cop that makes her strong. It makes the part interesting. That also makes, and also she's sort of very risk-taking. She's very, she's intense. And most importantly, I feel like she always puts, it's Call of Duty, which is more important. That's why she's 8 months pregnant and she's there. And likewise for me, I'm 8 months pregnant and I'm on set because, it's Call of Duty. So I just felt like I had a lot in common with her.
Wow. And also the fact that, getting back to the previous question, why did you say yes to this? Was it just the fact that
it's a great film with a great message, and of course the cast is like, like they say, Sone Pe Suhaga, because there's Yami, there's Atul, there's Dimple Kapadia, and you want to work with a crew like that. And the RSVP always churns out great content, so I really wanted to work with them as a production company as well.
Okay. Also, like I said before, that this is a very intense film because it's a hostage drama and a film where, kids are taken as hostage. And at the point in time where you shot it, it might get too intense. So did you feel that kind of pressure at any point while filming it?
I mean, like I was talking in another interview right now, and she quoted another actress from Collateral who was pregnant. And when you're pregnant and on a set or wherever else, and if you take out the job, you don't have to give your 100%. You have to actually give your 200%. You have to give more than what you've committed for, because you're like, and I always say this, when a pregnant woman walks in, I know people look after her, but she is always, like I've been there, always going to be the strongest person in the room and not the weakest. So don't treat us like that, because I mean, we understand you care and that's great. But while I'm, on the job, I'm also giving life. So, there's just so much more to being pregnant than what we always say, that yes, I mean, if you have a tricky pregnancy and if your physician says so, stay at home, but also don't make it our weakness. It's not like, oh, we're pregnant hai, to wo kar nahi paaye. Give us a chance. We'll show you what we're made of.
Yes. And patronizing behavior can actually get very bothering, at some point.
I mean, patronizing behavior, yes. Advice, even more so. But I mean, being looked after or people worrying about you is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay. Also, the fact that you just said that you got to share screen with some of the most talented stars. There's also Dimple Kapadia ma'am. So how was it working with her?
I actually had no scenes with her. So when I finally saw
Oh,
myself on a poster with Dimple Kapadia, I was like, yay, big win in the industry after being here for 19 years. I get to be on a poster with one of my most favorite, I mean, one has always looked up to her, and she debuted many, many, many years ago. And, we've grown up watching her and all of that. But for me, I think to be able to be in a film with Dimple ma'am, and to be able to kind of be in a film with such a strong message and such a thrilling film is an even bigger win.
okay. And I have, again, I'll be repeating myself by saying I have to ask you this, but if you could say this without giving spoilers, of course, because this is a thriller, what was the most challenging or difficult scene for you to do?
I think the fact that the film wasn't set in rain, and
Oh,
then it was set in rain, and then there was this point where I'm fully drenched and I had to scream, literally scream at everyone around to get the in action. Like, literally, it's the first one that you saw me in the promo, when I'm just like, I'm commanding everyone. So it was like a round trolley shot, and I had to stand all by myself. And then the rain would start, and then there would be a round trolley thing, looking around, figuring it out, what I'm supposed to give directions to where. So the rain was just really a big. I mean, it looks great, but it's very difficult to shoot in rain. Very, very difficult. And then being so pregnant was very hard for me. And there came a point where, like, even when my shoes were wet and drenched, I couldn't even like open my shoelaces myself, because my belly was in the
yeah.
way. And there were times with every passing week, like, the number of chairs that were stacked up for me were even more, because you can't bend down so much. The chair is much lower. So then, there were higher chairs that were being brought in, or I couldn't even go to the trailer because I couldn't climb the steps of the vanity van. So everything was a challenge physically, but just sitting around waiting in drenched clothes when you're so pregnant, I didn't think that it would be that tough. It was, but I never expressed it till now in an interview.
Oh, and when you are saying this, it's so difficult because there's so many things going around in the head. You have to get into the skin of ACP Alvarez. Then there's also your pregnancy. Then there's also the rain. So everything kind of, I think, gets one over the other.
I mean, I feel like it's a tough one, because, like you said, everything, it gets one over the other. But more than that, for me, the biggest challenge was to like, be in a situation where, let's finish the film. That's the most important thing, and that's what all the director and the crew and everyone, because when you're 36 weeks pregnant, you're there. And that was towards the end. And then suddenly I told my director that, listen, I want to travel out. And he was just like, no, you can't do it now. Can you delay it a few days? What if you come back? And what if, you're still not pregnant? And, what if the baby comes out? So the challenges were very, how do I say this? They were very sweet. And, people came from a very good place where we wanted to finish the job as well. But, some days were hard. Some days were a bit overwhelming. There were days when I still remember, like, I had morning sickness every day, and then Angad was filling in because Meher was here as well. And there were days where I would just be like, we would go to work really early, and there was a Sarakka, one little place where we would get upma, fresh Bombay in the morning, has fresh upma that comes from this couple. And every morning I'd be like, I need to get there on time before that upma on the road finishes, because that's all that I was craving while the shoot was going on. So not challenges as such, but I mean, they were like, it's just anecdotal to like be shooting and being very pregnant.
Oh,
Now, if you look at it in retrospect.
yes. And the stories that you're sharing, they're so interesting. It's keeping me hooked. And I'm anyway looking forward to watching a Thursday, but I'll also see these small moments, like the part you said where there's this rain shot and everything. I'm going to look like alag se. उन पे focus भी करूंगी. Also, how difficult or easy was it for you to get out of the character?
I mean, the fact that, she's somebody who always puts, she's in the line of duty, the fact that she's risk taking, the fact that she's, feisty, those things are something that come very naturally to me. So getting out of the character wasn't so hard. What was hard was getting out of those jeans that I was wearing the whole time. That was harder than getting out of the character because, I still remember I grew 2 sizes from the time I started shooting to now. So every time I would tell my stylist, no, she's like, but this is the size we got. And I'm like, no, I think I've had a growth spurt and now I need another size. So getting out of character was not so hard for me because it was one schedule. You kind of want to stay in character and not get out of it. And, I was shooting for about a good 15 days, playing a cop. And by the end of it, I was just really happy. We would go in the morning and sometimes for 8 hours, we would sit drenched. And for 2 days after that was over, I was just and I still remember it was raining. So I was just I can't see any more rain. I can't see any more rain anymore because I was just happy to be sitting in a warm place because you get so cold sitting around.
And there's also chances of, getting sick, and especially when you're 36 weeks pregnant. So that's a very big challenge as well, I think.
Yes, but at the same time, if you look at all that, and then if you look at the way the world is heading, then you'll never be able to step out of home, right? We were in the middle of a pandemic. We were in the middle of so much. The ifs and buts will be many, and it's how many roadblocks you actually want to create for yourself. I can sit here and create 20 more roadblocks for myself and then be like, this is it. Or then I'll be like, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to stick to positivity. I'm going to be working on strength, working on caution, tank up the vitamins and go for it.
Yes, and it's brilliant that you're paving the path. You're being a motivation to so many girls out there, I think, who would be able to, see the positive side and take the challenges head on instead of creating the roadblocks. Thank you so much, Neha, for joining with Desimartini. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, all the best and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. Please
Thank you.
take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.